Guys, the Chickens here, bringing you another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we're going to get into a bit of a warrior guide because we do have the upcoming Warrior Mania. I'm not sure if it's actually here right now, or it's here already. So, let's talk about the best ways to use warriors, statues, farming, operations, etc., etc. So, first off, let's discuss statues. So, warriors are one of those troops that are really going to benefit from basically anything that you give them. High gunboat energy, they're going to be great because then that means you can get more shocks when you're on the HQ. Troop health is going to benefit them a lot. Troop damage is probably the most important. So what you need with warriors is, number one, to have you need to have at least, I would say, well, it's hard to say at least, but it's hard to get into specifics and say you need 3 or 4 statues because, I mean, it's so, like, you know, it depends on the base and whatever. But you need gunboat energy and you need troop damage. The troop health is great, but you should really plan on more not really taking any hits. Because if you're good enough with your placements and your flares and your shock timing and stuff, having that extra damage, especially when you're boosted, is going to be basically all that matters. Especially if you can, you know, get them on the HQ, hit a couple shock launchers, and then just let them pound away, then more or less you're going to be fine. They do technically heal. They do heal themselves, actually, a little bit per swing. It's very, very minimal, though. So the Tribal Warrior is an awesome sight in battle. He charges fearlessly, knowing that his Crystal Hammer will heal him with every blow. So let's take a look at that really quickly here, just on an NPC base, just to show you guys what that actually means. So we're going to go like this, and I'm going to shock here, here, and here, and we're gonna let them do some damage on this Flamethrower. And you see they do heal up a little bit as they hit things, but it's very, very, very minimal, and it doesn't really ever come into effect. It's a nice little bonus to have, but you're not gonna be winning raids because they heal themselves up. So just think of it as like an added bonus. Don't plan your raids around, okay, like there's one Flamethrower here, but I'm gonna be able to heal with the Crystal Hammer. That's not really how it works. That's not really how it works. So yeah, like I said, probably the most important thing for warriors is the amount of troop damage that you have. So let's just get into how to use them actually against the player basis. So the easiest hero to use them with is going to be Kavan and the Ice Shield. That's kind of what Kavan was made for, was a hero to use with warriors, because before Kavan came out, it was just Brick and Everspark, and they didn't really work well with warriors. Of course, Battle Lords and warriors is a thing. That's one of the best ways to use them, but it's also very hard to get the placements right. So now, when you're smoking warriors, obviously when you're using warriors, the whole idea is to flare onto the HQ, shock the shock launcher, shock any splash damage, and then take it down, right? So there's a couple different ways to land them. So the easiest one is just the 2-smoke landing. If it's you know, if you have a lot of rock launchers, we wouldn't have to do that right here, but we'll show you guys how to do it anyway. So you go like this, and then you just let them all run up, and then say we're going right to the sniper tower. So then we're just gonna flare right up to it, and then just do it right like that. And then from here we're gonna move on over to the HQ, which we'll get into in just a moment. So let's retreat from there, and we'll do the other landing that we can do next. And you know, there's a lot of different ways to use them. You know, you can get really creative with warriors and do some different things to save your gunboat energy, but for the most part, they're pretty straightforward. They're pretty simple. So let's go ahead into the next landing here. So I'm going to take out things that are going to be an issue. Basically, that's just these 2 mines right here. And I might actually take out the shock mine. I'm not sure if we need to or not, but it is kind of in the way. So what we can do next is, if we're okay with taking a little bit of damage, we can actually just flare and smoke right to this Flamethrower. Yes, we're going to get clipped by it, but it's not going to be devastating. And since we have Kavan, he's going to be able to heal them up a little bit more. So when we move over to the HQ, a good idea, if you can, is to flare onto a defense that's close to it. This is going to keep them in a straighter line, versus, say, if we flare all the way back to this vault, like right now. They're going to spread out a lot more, and it's going to be a lot harder to control them. It's going to be a lot harder to smoke them. You see they're running outside of these defenses. So if you can keep their line a little bit tighter, we're going to die right here, obviously, but if you can keep the line a little bit tighter and kind of go, it's going to cost more GB, but go from building to building and then onto the HQ once you're a lot closer to it, then it's going to keep your line tighter. Like we said, you're going to avoid more mines, and it's just going to be easier overall to control them. So pay no attention to what we're doing right now, because this is not how you use warriors. I'd be pretty surprised if we actually did anything here, but But yeah, Warrior's probably one of, if not the strongest troop in the game when it comes to just lower level or just basic player versus player bases and things like of that sort. Pretty easy, pretty pretty straightforward to use, like we said. Oh my god, we're actually going to take the base down doing this, guys. So, not the most conventional way to take a base down, but it shows you how strong warriors are, especially because I have 4 troop damage, 4 troop health, and 2 gunboat energy statues. So, now let's talk about some fancier stuff now. So, let's bust out Brick with the battle orders, and we'll try to make this work. Now, admittedly, I'm not the best at doing this. I know Zmot's got some pretty good videos on how to use battle orders with warriors, but basically, if you can get it to work, it's like insane amounts of value that that you can get out of them. So the hardest part of all of this is just oh, I'm gonna have to use an artillery here, I think, because I can't let Brick hit 2 boom mines. Basically, the hardest part of this is getting Brick to tag along, because when you flare onto something, Brick doesn't stand on top of it like the warriors. She stands like pretty far back. She's more ranged than anything else. So here's what we can do to solve that, guys. So let's go like this. We're gonna throw out Brick first, then we're gonna throw out all the warriors, and what we're gonna do here, guys, is we're gonna flare to a spot that is covered by buildings. So we're gonna go like this, and then we're gonna go 1 and 2. And that's going to keep them all together. The warriors are going to kind of spread out a little bit, but at least we have everyone on the same page somewhat. So it's going to be harder to smoke them. Like I said, it's not an easy strategy by any means. But if you can get it to work, which I'm not sure if we did here. Did Brick come with us or not? Okay, so Brick is with us here. So then what you can do, once we get right onto that HQ, now we're going to shock everything that is in our way. And you see we did get the battle orders on the warriors, and you know, we lost quite a few amount of warriors there, but with the battle orders, they do so much damage. It's really worth it if you can kind of master that technique. But that's basically the idea. And at the very end there, once we'll try another one like that. Actually, we can just watch a replay here. So at the very end there, what I should have done to do it properly. That's weird. When you watch a replay, it's on the summer base, so it looks like a different base, but it's the same attack, guys. It's the same attack. So yeah. I'm just going to fast forward here. Yeah, I usually throw Brick out first. You know, something to be careful of there is when you do throw Brick out first, make sure there's not a boom cannon or shock launcher or something that's just going to mess up your entire raid and you just end up losing Brick, because then you're just, you know, then you're just left off with less GBE and a weirder starting position for your warriors. So basically when I got here, what I should have done right at this point, not right at this point, as soon as Brick catches up, you know, and of course my grouping wasn't the best. I could have placed those 2 smokes a little bit further. I could have placed this last smoke here that's closer to this boom cannon. I could have put it a little bit farther down. We probably would have got some better coverage and not have those warriors peek out of the smoke. Because if that happens, that can screw you up too, because if there was shock launchers in range, which I don't think there are, they're right on the beach here, they would have tagged all the warriors and it would have gone pretty badly. So when we got Brick right up here, what I should have done at this point, as soon as Brick caught up with the warriors like she is right now, I should have smoked and flared onto the HQ, because you can actually, if you flare them close enough to the HQ initially, you can actually get them all under one smoke, and then you're going to have a much better time. Of course, it costs a little bit more GBE, so I mean, you have to kind of play it as you go. But have a bit of a plan before you go into the base, you know, don't just do it on the fly like the chicken always does. And that's, you know, that's how to use warriors in the most common ways. Now, some of the best uses for warriors overall are going to be resource bases. So resource bases, and you can use bullet and taunt. It's actually pretty good too. So if you boost up, if you're all offense and you boost up your statues, there's basically no resource base that you can't take down using warriors. And we're going to try to make this work right here. So let's try to pull everything together for this last hit, guys. So we're going to go with the 2 smoke landing, and we're going to throw bullet out first because he's a little bit slower. And then we're going to go like this, and we're going to flare onto that first building. It's okay if they pop out of smoke a little bit on the edges. Warriors are the fastest troop in the game, obviously, so you're gonna have a little bit of time for them to get hit by stuff, and they're gonna be able to just run through it. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So then right here, you want to make sure we'll get into that in a second. So We'll shock all the splash damage. Now there are no shock launchers on resource bases, so that makes it a little bit easier. And you see with taunt, we're able to disable everything basically around that HQ. So that's why I only shock stuff on the far side that's away from bullet, because everything else is just gonna be targeting bullet. Even the rocket launchers that are close to the beach, they're just gonna be shooting right at bullet. So that's fine. Again, make sure that bullet is on the HQ standing with the warriors before you flare onto it, just so he doesn't stand too far back. He is slightly ranged, but usually he stands under that same final smoke. So guys, that's all I got for tips and tricks on how to use warriors. What do we have from the trader? 7 crystals for 7 power powders. Buy the following from the trader with 7 power powder. That's actually not a bad trade. I mean, you're getting 7 power powder out of it. So if you have, I'm actually going to do that. Just because I don't have perfect red statues, so we're gonna trade in 14 power powder for 14 crystals, and when you build a masterpiece, you get and you crush it, you get 7 power powder back. So it ends up being about the same. What else do we got here? Chicken, back. Okay, let's buy 9 trader tickets. That's a good buy. And we'll open a free trader crate to end things off with. So guys, let me know down below in the comments your best tips and tricks for using warriors. What do you think of the chickens? Were we spot on? Were we way off? Let me know that down below in the comments, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. And we'll see you next one, guys. Chicken out. Back.